Car customers should not expect too many discounts or sales this festive season, warn market experts. The semiconductor shortage has come to haunt the Indian car industry right ahead of the festive season, with car makers including Maruti, Tata Motors and M&M cutting down production numbers thanks to a massive shortage of chips around the world.
There is sufficient demand in the market. The customer is willing to buy, customer is willing to even pay a higher price, but the supply chain is totally disrupted, primarily because of the chip shortage. And the biggest players in the market are announcing, so Maruti has said that their production will be impacted by almost 60% during September. So obviously there'll be no inventory buildup, which happens as a precursor to the festival season. Mahindras have said that they'll have a 7-day production holiday because of chip shortage. So I think every manufacturer, and this is now a global phenomenon, it's not limited to India. The chip shortage is impacting the auto industry, and supply is going to be a major constraint and as we get into the festival season. So this is purely a supply side challenge.
Global forecasting firm IHS Markit has predicted the July to September quarter to be the worst for the auto industry in India when it comes to chip shortage.
As far as IHS Markit is concerned, we mentioned that Q3 will be very tough for India, and I think that's the worst scenario till now we are facing. It is very uncertain, highly uncertain. We cannot mention anything about till when it is going to improve. You know that Maruti has already declared that they're going to cut the production last month, I think with the start of the August, right? So production numbers are going to get impacted. But what percentage for the total market, that will be difficult to mention. We know that there were multiple shutdowns has been happened, not by Maruti, even by Tata, even by Ford. Multiple OEMs had done the shutdown in August.
Now, most passenger vehicles are very highly feature driven, and each feature requires a semiconductor. So the more the features, the more semiconductors that you would require, and the bigger the challenge it is to meet the demand. So I think somewhere we will need to be prepared for supply side challenges for a longish period of time, I would say.
The consumer is going to suffer this time because they are not going to get the preferred vehicles, first of all. Second, the waiting periods will be very high this year, and we don't know when we are going to produce. Even industry car maker doesn't know that how much time it is going to take to produce some of the popular models. So consumer is definitely going to suffer. First, he has to wait more. Second, he may not get the preferred vehicle. Third, he may not get the discounts. If he's waiting for a discount to come in the festive season, I don't think any discount is he's going to get any discount this year. One of the major reason, we know that there is a robust supply in the market, or robust demand in the market, but there is a supply crunch because of the semiconductor.
September is seeing a spate of price increases, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's another price increase just before the festival. So it'll be very different for passenger vehicles. You should be willing to pay a higher amount, and you should not be expecting very attractive consumer schemes, except for probably some very slow moving models. So my advice to anybody who is a car buyer would be to go and buy your car now. Don't wait for discounts, don't wait for schemes, don't wait for end of the year, because it's not just about discounts. I think every manufacturer has acknowledged that besides the chip shortage, their cost of inputs are skyrocketing, and they're finding it extremely difficult to hold back prices. Some of the manufacturers have said that they have not yet passed on the entire input cost increase to the consumers, and they might have to see a price increase every quarter. So if that be the case, I think the earlier you buy the car, the better it is. There will not be a festival cheer, and I don't think there'll be sufficient inventories for either manufacturers or dealers to even give a year-end discount. So buy your car now would be my advice.
He can go and book, and if he can freeze the price, because we also understand that there's an uncertainty on the price hikes. The input cost is increasing every day, every month. So I would say that please go out and do your booking. That will help the car makers to judge the demand rightly, and then they can transfer that demand to the semiconductor side. Even though things are moving towards 12 months of demand cycle for the semiconductor side from the car makers.
While there's a supply side issue for cars, the two-wheeler segment is dealing with a challenge on the demand front. The approaching festive season is unlikely to bring any cheer to two-wheeler manufacturers grappling with weak demand and rising costs for 2 years on the trot.
Two-wheelers, we have seen that demand has been sluggish. It's nowhere near the pre-pandemic level. Walk-ins are slow, and there is oversupply of two-wheelers in the market. So it's diagrammatically opposite to what's happening in passenger vehicles. I'm reasonably sure that there will be attractive consumer schemes for scooters and entry-level two-wheelers, because the demand has been really sluggish, and even two-wheelers have gone through a series of price increases. So in order to trigger demand, I wouldn't be surprised if most manufacturers do introduce interesting consumer schemes.
Industry insiders say chip shortage will be the only factor to dampen the festive season sales. Otherwise, demand looks quite resilient. As OEMs grapple with semiconductor supply shortfall, they're trying to manage the waiting periods, hoping for things to stabilize over the coming quarters.